computer. Okay. Hey everyone. Welcome to the show. And today I have the Rice with the Rice Crypto Show. So welcome, Rice. It's awesome to have you here today.
No, it's definitely my pleasure, and I really appreciate you having me on. We've known each other for quite a long time, seen each other at a lot of different events, and I've had the opportunity to bring you on my channel, and I'm going to be interviewing you again. So I appreciate the opportunity to come on your channel.
Yeah, finally. I've wanted to have you on for quite a long time. So we have known each other for quite a while now. So, and we just saw each other in Miami not that long ago. What
Good
a
times.
great trip that was. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
Yeah. So things are good. How are you doing?
Doing well. I've had some unfortunate circumstances recently, and now I'm kind of having to go and push myself into getting full time into the content creating thing, and I'm really looking forward to it. Reaching out to some new sponsors to help me out. I'm going to start a new Patreon channel. So for people who are unfamiliar, if you don't know what I do, I'm a content creator. I got a YouTube channel. I talk about things like Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and blockchain. I'm also an outspoken anarchist and talk about anarchist and voluntarist related topics, economics, and my philosophy of practice change. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying to grow in the space and bring more value by going full time. So it's exciting times ahead.
Yeah, I love how you voice that, practice change. It's a quote, it's a Gandhi quote, of course, and it's such a wonderful quote.
Well, it's a play on his quote, but it was definitely inspired. His quote was, and I'm not sure if it's exact word for word, but basically, be the change that you want to see in this world.
Correct.
And
yeah.
and in studying a lot of spirituality, I was raised a Christian and still very much adhere to the teachings of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't identify as a Christian per se,
mm-hmm.
but in studying other spiritualities and looking into like Buddhism, a person who studies Buddhism, they don't call themselves a Buddhist. They would actually call themselves a practicing Buddhist. And I really thought that was really interesting. And what Buddha means is, one who has achieved enlightenment. So you can't really be a Buddhist per se, because you would have had to achieve that enlightenment. So they practice Buddhism, and
Correct.
that's what made me get the idea of practice change. Because even people who call themselves Christians, they're not very Christ-like. They're more practicing Christians, and it also kind of takes the pressure off the situation, because we're human beings. We're going to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a perfect walk. It's a hard walk if you're mindful of these things, because you're starting to be aware of how your interactions affect other people, and basically how you stand and the way people look at you, and your values and your morals and your integrity.
Absolutely. It's a journey of life, and I couldn't have said it better. So we won't get into too much of the spirituality, but I love talking about spirituality. It's a big part of my life, and it's very much my path of life, and I have a creator, my source, and
and I wasn't intending to go down that route either, and I don't talk about those things on my channel. There's some things that I just like for people to be able to have that freedom with, and I don't want to even be involved in possibly influencing somebody in some direction. So
I think that's what we're saying, right? It's just not about influencing, but it is a part of your life. It is a part of my life, and I have no problem saying that. I would never hide that. I'm very happy and proud to have that as part of my life. So, but yeah, awesome. No. So, so I was telling you earlier that I had nothing prepared, no questions, and we did this.
Cool.
Yeah, and I love it. So let's see, what can we talk? Is there anything that you really would like to talk about, or anything you need to say or announce? Just to ask you that first.
Well, some really cool things I got coming up. Like I said, I mentioned the fact that I want to be doing my Patreon channel, which
yes,
I'll have I'll have an announcement coming out. I think I want to have the video out tomorrow. So depending on when you release this, check out my channel and check out the announcement. That way, I'll have more specifics then. But I'm also going to be starting a new show, kind of a reboot of an old show, the new name with Ken Bozek and maybe possibly both the guys, if not one from Young Dumb Crypto.
Okay, yeah.
And it's going to be called Rehashcast. And we might even be starting our first episode tomorrow, kind of like an introduction episode. If we do that, we're going to be going live at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight, we're going to talk about that a little bit more and figure out 100% if we're going to start tomorrow or not.
So it'll be a live show?
Yeah, live late night, Friday nights. No one's really doing very much. It would be 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would make it about 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So it's a good time. There's not really much going on YouTube. So for the people who are at home or want to listen to something on the way to going out and doing something, I think we can capture a different crowd and really kind of appeal to that late night vibe, late night bro vibe.
The Friday Night Late Show.
Yeah, well,
or Friday Night Live.
It would be kind of in that concept, but the name is Rehashcast, and it's basically because we're going to be rehashing the last week news.
Okay, cool.
Majority crypto and blockchain related, but we're not going to completely tie it down to just crypto and blockchain since there's a lot of personalities involved. We're going to add something that just caught our attention or something like that in addition to the crypto and blockchain.
I think it'll be fun with the three of you.
Oh, it definitely will be. Yeah. We might have some rotating people come on. So, there's lots of ideas that we've been brainstorming. It's just kind of the beginning. And me and Ken used to do a show in the past called Last Week in Crypto.
Right.
So it's kind of taking that idea and expanding a little bit more. And we're going to be sponsored by Coinbound. So we're coming out with a sponsor, and they're going to be helping us out with some PR work, which is really cool.
Okay.
Then I'm also going to be, and I'm not sure exactly when we're announcing it. We haven't figured out a name yet, but me and Girl Gone Crypto are going to be starting a show that's going to be kind of somewhere between the cryptocurrency and anarchist element, kind of bridging the gap and talking about things that are freedom related.
Oh, nice. Cool.
And then I do plan on launching a podcast where once a week I'll have a podcast that's just going to be specifically audio, not on YouTube or any other platforms. So that way I can kind of spread myself out in that element because there are people like podcasts. And then I'll also, once I launch that, probably like once a week, start uploading one of my previous interviews that I've done on my YouTube channel because I've got, a plethora of interviews of high quality profile people that, people can still gain value from. So I don't think it'd be a problem putting up older interviews and stating that what it is, like kind of like a bonus episode, because it's going to be once a week that I'm going to be doing this. So, and there'll be more details coming out about that because as you can see, I got so much going on now that I've kind of got thrown into the deep end of the pool. I'm just trying to sift through the chaos and, then I can give people a lot more finer details. But right now the focus is on my end, the Patreon, getting it started going and what's going on with that. And then getting the thing going with the Rehashcast with Ken Bozek and Young Dumb Crypto. And then I'll get more details about the show with Girl Gone Crypto and my audio podcast soon as I can sift through this chaos.
Nice. You have a lot going on. That's awesome. So you may have left another job, but it sounds like you're walking right into a full-time gig here. So
yeah, I just got to make it work monetarily, so, if somebody's watching this, I'm always looking for quality sponsors, quality partnerships.
Yes, this guy is great quality. So anyone watching,
and there's a few people I'm talking to. If I can firm up another two quality, and I've really got Monarch, I'm trying to work out an agreement to continue with my sponsorship with Presearch, and there's another company I'm talking to. So if I can get these two really sealed down, I can at least cover my monthly expenses to where I can make sure I'm not going out of pocket with anything, because literally I went extremely part-time with the job that I was working, and 2 days a week, just making enough to cover my bills. And a lot of my trips when I was going out of town to conferences, I was getting sponsorships to cover the majority of my trips. Some of it I would have to pay some of it, but the majority I've had a lot of help with, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
And I've kind of went through my savings that I've had over the past year. And when I got back from Miami, I was like literally kind of down to all my dirty fiat. It was just,
Yeah, so you're really passionate about what you're doing, and you're such a great advocate in the space. And I mean, especially when you start spending money out of your own pocket to really, help and educate and spread the word. And okay,
that's how it
so
started. So now, yeah, the
did you hear
more
that?
help I can get. Is that your dog doing that again?
It's my puppy. Well, it's my son's puppy. Harley, come here. I have to show you Harley. Okay, just a sec.
I wish my cat wasn't being lazy and sleeping right now. I'd pull my cat up. Yeah, the funny thing is, like, your dog was making those noises, gnawing on that bone, and you're like, can you hear that? And I could definitely hear it, but that's the first noise I heard during the interview.
This is Harley.
That's a cute dog.
She's so cute.
What did you call her? A Pookie?
Oh, my Poochie.
Your Poochie.
The
She's
little
your Poochie. She's your little Poochie.
Yes, she's a really sweet dog, and
Loves
she's
you.
adorable. And she can let me like hold her and cuddle her like this forever. Like she'll just lay there like this. See?
Oh,
There she is.
look at the mommy in you. It's so cute.
She's adorable. Okay, you just lay here while I talk to Chris.
Yeah, my cat jumped up, and I was telling you earlier, my cat jumped up and kind of photobombed my interview with Lynette Zhang, which was hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a good interview,
saw,
by the way. I watched it.
Thank you.
Really good. Great information. She's a wealth of knowledge, and it's nice to hear, especially from a female perspective, I have to say. So,
yeah, and for people who are unfamiliar, that like if you really want, if you're concerned with economics and what's going on currently with our financial system, and you want to understand what's happening, this last interview I did with Lynette Zhang is very informative. We talk about the Federal Reserve. We talk about when they got involved completely in control of our money in 1971 when Nixon took us off the gold standard. We talk about inverted yield curves, the repo market, LIBOR rates. I mean, these might sound like really boring things, but it's like a 40-minute interview, and we try to make it as understandable as possible while me trying to be a little sarcastic here and there.
Yeah, but I liked it, like about inflation, and she gave just real life examples that are simple, that are layman's point of view. It's really nice, nicely done. So
Thank you.
Very, very good. I have to ask you, what's your favorite coin? People ask me that, so I feel like I need to ask you.
Well, I mean, if I had to choose one, like if I was on an island and only had one item to choose, I mean, it would be Bitcoin at the moment.
Yeah.
Just because it's the first, it's got the highest rate of hash power, the highest rate of security. Sorry about that. Technology wise, Bitcoin, I just think it has some room for improvement, but if that was the only coin, I think that we would get it there.
Yes, agreed. I think, well, it's the daddy of all coins. So, really.
There's a lot of altcoins that I'm really excited about because I do feel like there's a lot of use case, and I'm very outspoken about Bitcoin being limited and stifled on purpose. You can check out my interview with Roger Ver if you want to get a better understanding about what I'm talking about. But as far as other projects that I really am bullish on, especially this year, there's a few because I'm not a maximalist of any sort. I'm a big proponent of Nexus. Nexus is a really immense project. It's kind of hard to explain. I also interviewed the creator, Colin Cantrell, on my YouTube channel, so people could check that out. But it's a very immense project that could definitely solve a lot of issues that we have going on in the blockchain industry. It's smart contract based, ease of use. I mean, there's a lot going on with it. Komodo platform is another one that I encourage people to check out. I'm a big fan of Divi. Divi's got a lot of really, really good things going on. I know you're a fan of Divi. You've interviewed Nick and Jeff, right?
I've interviewed them both. I run a masternode as well.
Me
and
too.
Yeah,
and I've interviewed them both. And yeah, they're a great project. So if people aren't familiar with Divi, check out both me and Amina's interviews. Another one that I will mention that I'm really excited about and won't get into detail is Potcoin.
Yeah, I
You
actually
know,
just spoke to him before heading home to
I
do
know
an
you were. I know
interview.
you might be doing an interview with Josh, so I'll let
Yeah.
people wait for that and anticipate that, and kind of get a better understanding of why I'm bullish about that project, because I do
Mm-hmm.
have some insider information that hasn't
Mm-hmm.
gone public. Um, and I'm trying to think if there's any others that I want to shout out. I mean, obviously, Pre's got a lot of really good things going on.
Yeah,
Live.
pre-search is a little similar to the Brave browser, right? Same idea.
No, the Brave browser pays you for attention. So you're choosing to opt into ads and things like that. The Brave browser is also a lot faster and more private of a browser, and very
Yeah.
similar to how Chrome operates. It's just like an improvement on it. But the basic attention token, BAT, it's paying you mainly for your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with pre-search right now through the platform, you're getting paid for your search history. So let's say when someone says, let's Google that, you can Google it through pre-search, and what you're doing is you're helping pre-search build their database up, and they're paying you in their PRE pre-token. And they've got a lot of really cool announcements getting ready to come out any day about some of their improvements and things that they're working towards in 2020. So I encourage people to check that out. And I'm going to be doing an interview with Colin Pape soon. He's just extremely busy.
Mm-hmm.
Library would be the next one I would mention, which LBC is their ticker for their library credits, but Library is my go-to backup platform for in case something happens to my YouTube channel.
Right.
And they've created, from all my research, the most decentralized content sharing publishing platform out. I'm still on DTube and BitTubers, and I probably will utilize other platforms. It's very time consuming. That's why I say my go-to is going to be Library, LBRY. And if you're not on there, I encourage you to get on there. They got a really cool YouTube program where you can just, as soon as your content is on YouTube, once you agree to the terms and all this kind of stuff, which is very cool, very easy, they'll start moving your videos over, and it'll permanently be stored on their element. So no matter what happens to YouTube, if you happen to get censored in the future, because it possibly could come to our whole industry in the crypto and blockchain space. So, definitely check out Library. And so those are the ones that I've got a lot of feeling towards, and I think have a lot of really good things going on for them.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Thanks for all of that. That's nice to hear
And
about.
I look forward to your interview with Josh from Potcoin. I want to
Yeah,
be
so do
interviewing
I
him
actually.
next
Yeah.
week as well.
Yes.
I think Monday I'm interviewing him.
Just 1 second. Sorry, I have her with me because my pup, she's been in a crate all day. So I thought I'd have her in this room with me while we do this. And she's trying to chew a photo of my
I wouldn't even edit any of this.
grandparents.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, you can't let that happen. But I wouldn't even edit this out. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is
Here,
good.
look at this picture of my grandparents. Check this out. This is them in Egypt on camels in the pyramid, around the pyramids. And back
now,
then,
your family, you're not from Egypt, or you're from
South Africa.
Okay.
But they traveled a lot. And that was one of their trips, and she's trying to chew the picture. So, but yeah, that was back then when the pyramids, you had a lot more access, and the things they saw were incredible. So it was really, anyway, I love that picture.
It's a very cool picture.
Yeah. So what do you think? What are your thoughts about the coronavirus?
Had your drinking a Corona. Man, you really are working on the entertainment here, aren't you? We got to just take a clip of just
Right?
you drinking a Corona, saying right before it and saying, "What do you think about the coronavirus?" Yeah. I think
it is my Friday night, right? I have a PD day tomorrow. I work at high schools, so
yeah. No, I told you I have a meeting to go to in a little bit, and I do plan on having a couple drinks. I just over the past just since yesterday morning, I've gone up like 228 new subscribers.
Fantastic.
So I crossed over 200 or over 2,000, and now I'm at 2,100 actually. So it's
nice. Congrats. That's awesome.
I did an appearance on Crypto Zombie Show, which really helped me out. And shout out to K-Dub.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
But
Congrats.
I think it's ironic though that because I know that you're working with the Corona family with the launch of Corona Games, and they're getting into the blockchain industry.
Yes,
And I helped you out with doing a press release, which people could check
you
out.
did. Yes, thank you for that.
But it's so ironic though that as they're finally coming out and making a public statement that there's this virus going on that just happens to have their name attached to it.
Right?
Like, I know that it's not a marketing ploy. I know that the
No,
Corona
of
family
course
didn't
not.
put this out, and I know they
Of
didn't
course not.
patent it with the coronavirus
Good
name.
Lord, no.
But
Oh
it's
my
just so
goodness.
ironic when you think about it, man.
It is it really is, and whether it has meaning or not, whatever, but it's strange
Yeah.
things, right? Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what they got going on.
Very
I got
exciting.
I
Very
got an
dynamic.
email. I think I got an email yesterday for the launch
Yes.
of registration. I haven't done anything because I was kind of thinking based off the way the email read that when I registered, being a new person, that they were going to throw me some Corona coin to play.
Oh, okay. So I think you have to load it up with I can't say. So,
Yeah.
but you can keep watching the
Yeah.
website. It's
Okay.
going to grow. There's a lot coming, and there's big changes. As you see already, there's been some changes to the website.
Cool.
I'm going to tweet it and announce it as soon as I have the go-ahead, the next little thing coming before the first game, which is March 4th. And
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with what they're going in.
It's going to be very exciting. I mean, the creativity behind this project is amazing, and it is going to be different, very different than what we know. Nothing like what we've seen with the gaming world and trivia. They're also getting into film production. It's blockchain tech. I mean, it's really exciting, and it's family-friendly site. The prizes are really cool. It's fun.
The prizes, what
I
they
can't say much, but
yeah, well, I mean,
very exciting.
they have mentioned some things, or I've seen some. Maybe it was in a press release where they were talking about tuition,
Yes,
rent,
mortgages paid, tuition
mortgages,
paid.
vacations,
Yeah,
Disneyland trips. I know there'll be smaller prizes and things like that, and
for
it's
sure. Yeah,
kind of a flip of a coin. So the way that they're making it sound without me knowing a whole lot is that you may just invest a couple dollars, but you may play the right game and get the right flip of the coin and actually win something way more valuable. And I really like what really made me get more interested in this more than just a big family getting involved in a blockchain game, because I really feel like you're going to see a lot more of this, and that's not really necessarily going to be a very special thing. It's going to turn out to be a very common thing. Whether or not they're one of the first, they're going to be one of the first of many. But I really
they will be. They have a very interesting creative creator behind this, so it will be.
the philosophy of bringing people together.
Yes,
Like that, their
exactly.
overall philosophy, that's what really attracted me to really want to dig in and look at this a little bit further, because especially because of the practice change stuff,
Yeah, and it's a big goal of theirs. Absolutely. I mean, to want to help change the world with the rest of us. They're on the same.
So I was going somewhere with it. I wasn't knocking them. I just wanted to say what separated them for me in particular, because and I hate saying this word because this is one of the words I have the biggest problem with, no matter how many times I try to practice it. Philanthropy. I think I said it right. Yeah. But I hate that word. But I like what it means.
Yes.
I love what it means. And
they have a philanthropic approach.
Philanthropic.
Yes.
I did it twice. Oh my gosh.
I did that too a few times.
Yeah.
But it is nice. I like when joy to work with them.
I love when Ben tries to say that word. It's really funny.
Yeah.
It's interesting to watch.
Yes. I love Ben. Exciting times for 2020, I have to say. It's going to be an interesting year.
It's going to be a great year, man.
It already is, yeah.
This community of people, I think it's going to be a good thing for all of us content creators in the space. All of the companies that are doing legit things to bring use case. Yes. These decentralized currencies that are working together in collaboration towards a greater goal. I think you're going to see some success with some centralized entities, because obviously they're going to have funding you're seeing IPOs being introduced, and
Yeah.
you're seeing, you know, that kind of situation come in. But that's when you're going to see, like, you know, where do you stand in the cryptocurrency game? Like, why did you get involved? Why are you investing in this? Like, what is the reason behind it? Are you in this for a profit, for some sort of monetary gain? Are you in this for the technology and the change, the creative destruction that this can bring? So I think you're going to start seeing people leaning, the real quality people who are in this for the change, not the change. I think that you'll start seeing them pushing the decentralization element, whereas the mainstream pop culture is going to be pushing these centralized entities, because they're going to have the funding to be able to do this marketing. So it's going to be unfortunate, but I think that's going to be the war that we're going to be fighting once we see some mainstream adoption, is decentralization versus centralization, because the powers that be are trying to centralize as many things as they can and create things like the Lightning Network so they can have centralized payment systems. It's just ridiculous. I can go on.
Yeah, no, and it's valid points, but there's need for both, depending on what it is being used for and in what parts, you know, of certain companies and what they have to offer. I mean, you know, to say there'll be a war, it's just about, really, let's get together and think. Let's think this through, think together. How do we create? How do we co-create? And there's, yes, the decentralization has such a value to it in so many aspects, as we know. And we don't need to list them. I think at this point we know, but centralization has its value as well, or it wouldn't exist, in my opinion. So
yeah, no, there's a time and a place. There is.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see something like Bitcoin be, or a global currency be, centralized and controlled. So, you know, I really feel like currency needs to be decentralized. I mean, there is a time and a place for centralization. There is a need for that in certain elements, but the ones that pertain, like if you're talking about using blockchain for voting, I definitely want that to be decentralized. I don't want a centralized entity controlling that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, there's a time and a place, and, you know, I'm not 100% complete proponent of decentralization, but where it matters, where it counts is really where I push, and I really won't back down for.
Yeah. Nice. Well, we shall see where this all unfolds. There's a lot of great talent too on the back end of everything, where they don't get noticed, or you don't hear of them. And I get to meet some of these people too, and really talented and hardworking, and kudos to, I mean, it's a whole conglomerate of all of us together, right? As I said earlier, co-creating. So to give them the shout out is,
shout out to the unsung heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else? So where are you off to? Are you off to anywhere? Oh, okay. So there's a little bit of stuff going on with this massive adoption in Memphis. I don't want to get into it too much, but
yeah.
I know it's a little controversial at this point. I never was.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I mean, you know, you talk about trusting your intuition. And, you know, we've had a lot of conversation with things to that element and degree. And I tried telling you I trusted my intuition situation.
Trust yourself.
I mean, ultimately, I'm glad I didn't get involved. And all I was asking for was a media pass, which would have meant that I get a free ticket. And he wasn't game for that. I don't know of anybody that actually possibly even did. I think he was trying to sell package tickets that included airfare and hotel and all this stuff. But like, it's only a couple hours away from where I'm at. I can get a cheap Airbnb. I could make the trip inexpensive and not pay as much as what he's wanting paid. And that was my argument.
Right.
And so I kind of just let it go. And now apparently there's been some people that had prepaid in advance for tickets in these packages. He's saying he's not even sure the event's going to take place. He's supposed to be refunding people's money that wanted refunds. He was supposed to refund them in the order of the money he received. Now he's just like apparently being sporadic with that. And there's some issues with people saying that they've been told that he claims that he said he sent the money several times and it hadn't been received. I chimed in, well, because he claimed, he said he knew Ken Bozek, and Ken Bozek,
He met him once.
Well, but Ken Bozek's kind of vouching for him to a degree, up until a point, because a lot of people are trying to point out this guy's criminal background. And I agree with Ken. Don't judge a guy based off his criminal background, because people can
Right. I agree.
change. But when
I think it's more than that, though. There's a lot more.
Right. There was a lot more to it. And I think once Ken started seeing that, now he's like, well, dude, I hope that you're making this right, and you can make this right, because if you don't, it's not going to be good.
It's not going to be good.
And that's kind of, you can go on Twitter and check out me and Amina's Twitter and follow
Rob
McNeely.
If
you're interested, if you're even interested in this
right.
drama, like it's not my fight, and I didn't really want to put a lot of energy into it.
He engaged with me a little bit on the back end, you know, offering like these ticket packages. And I said to him, I asked him some very valid questions. And I just said, like, why are they so cheap? And he said, well, we have sponsors. Well, who are your sponsors? Well, I can't really mention them yet, because we're going to be pushing for promotion in another week. And I thought, this is ridiculous. And I said, okay, so he said, but I did mention the names already, and they're on the website. And he's not really answering the question. So I thought, well, no, you haven't really mentioned them yet. And then he said, look, I have 3 packages only, and they sell always within an hour. And then I came back to him and I said, I really don't like pressure sales. I feel pressured. And he said, oh, I'm not meaning to pressure you. And I said, so they'll sell in an hour. I said, well, I'll let you know tomorrow. So then I knew tomorrow he'd come knocking on my door, and he did. And he said, I have a ticket for you. And I said, oh, you do? So they didn't sell in the hour. Okay. And he said, no, I have one. And I said, okay, well, I'm not interested. Thank you. Well, okay. You know, and you can go get your pass for $297. Thank you. And he sort of like rubbed that in my face. That's how I felt anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, I was kind of like, I wasn't trying to be rude with them. Ultimately, I was just trying to be like, okay, I understand, you know, and just left it at that. And then, you know, he was saying something about that on some threads publicly, and this is in a DM prior. And I'm like, look, dude, I was just saying that stuff to be kind, because I respect your choice. I mean, I'd agree with your choice, but I respect your choice. And there was no point in me even going further. And, you know, I guess he was under the impression that I was just acceptant of this. But look, I was trying to explain to him, like, I've been offered media passes to go to way bigger events than your little tiny event. And it was just conveniently close to me, closer. And there was a lot of people that I knew that were going to apparently be there. And I thought it would be a nice opportunity to be able to hang out with people.
For sure. And not to go on about talking about him too much. I don't know him. I've never met him. I can only talk about my experience I had chatting with him. That's all I can share. And I
don't think we've seen anything negative.
Today he did say that, you know, he's had mental health issues and drinking issues and so on. So, you know what, if he needs help, I hope he really does get some help, and not make it a public event, and not, you know, feel sorry for himself or look like the victim or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of manipulation in this.
Right. I mean, I'm not trying to judge a guy or talk negatively, but if he's doing something that's not ethical, then we need to encourage people not to continue funding unethical behaviors.
Question things. People call people out, then, you know, take an interest to check it out yourself and vet it and ask questions. And that's all you can do, really. And trust your gut at the end of the day. Trust that gut.
I hate to cut it short, but I do got to bounce here real soon.
Yeah, no worries. I think we've been on for a little while. I just wanted to have this.
No, it was fun. It was great.
Have you on?
It was really. I like loose conversations, like fireside chats.
Yes,
and that's what I try to do with my interviews. I mean, I have to ask questions, but I try to turn them into these. I mean, you were interviewing me, but it was more of a conversation. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it. I love talking to you. It's awesome. You always have so much to offer. A lot of valuable insight. So
likewise.
So me and my puppy Harley, who is now settling down there, in case you've been hearing a lot of noises in the background, anybody and tuned in midway through, I do have a puppy here chewing on a bone. So anyway, thanks, Chris. I know you got to go. Thanks for being on the show. And
thank you so much. And welcome. You know, we'll talk tomorrow when we do the next when I interview you. But yeah, I appreciate.
Thanks. Appreciate you too. Take care.